The film's central figures are a brother and sister duo. The sister, Iris, has a younger brother who is battling blood cancer. Their parents passed away long ago, leaving them in a precarious financial situation. To afford her brother's treatment, Iris is on the lookout for a job. She attends an interview at a restaurant, but the manager informs her that they will get back to her regarding her application. The following day, Iris encounters her brother's doctor, who discusses his illness with her. During their conversation, the doctor introduces her to a man named Shepard. He acknowledges Iris's concerns about her brother's treatment and offers a solution, stating that he can help her with the financial burden. All she needs to do is participate in one of his games, which is essentially a dare. If she wins, she will not only be able to afford her brother's treatment but also become quite wealthy. Feeling desperate and with no alternatives, Iris initially views the proposition as a game. She looks to the doctor for reassurance, and he confirms that Shepard has previously assisted him as well. Iris clarifies that her brother requires a bone marrow transplant. Shepard reassures her, saying that she shouldn't worry, all she has to do is attend a party and play a game there. He asks her to let him know by 8 p.m. if she decides to participate, promising a substantial reward if she wins, along with arranging a bone marrow donor for her brother. After Iris leaves, the doctor and Shepard have a conversation. Shepard praises Iris, believing she has the potential to be a great player, noting her lack of family and her determination to fight for her brother. The doctor warns Shepard against exploiting her situation, urging him to reconsider. However, Shepard silences him with money and departs. Shortly after, Iris receives a call from the restaurant regarding her interview, only to be informed that she was not selected. Feeling defeated and with no other options, she is left in a difficult position. She calls Shepard to inform him that she will be joining his gathering. Iris then approaches her brother, sharing that she has plans for a party with her friends that evening. She decides to stay there and visit him in the morning, to which her brother agrees. A car sent by Shepard arrives to pick up Iris from her home. Upon arriving at his place, she is escorted to the waiting area, where she finds 8 others, including Lucas and Carl. Lucas and Carl introduce her to the rest of the group, which includes an elderly woman who is paralyzed and a man known for his gambling habits. Another individual present is deeply in debt, which is the reason for his attendance, as he needs to repay someone. There's also a former soldier among them, along with a quiet girl. As they converse, Shepard's butler approaches and instructs them to leave their belongings behind and join the dinner table. When they arrive, Shepard enters with his son, and they are served wine and meat. Iris declines the food, explaining that she is vegetarian. Shepard insists she try it, even offering her $10,000 to do so, which leaves her stunned. Eventually, she gives in and starts eating the meat, prompting Shepard to tease her about eating for money, suggesting he might be inclined to offer dares for cash. Meanwhile, another businessman, who is also in debt, refrains from drinking wine. When Shepard inquires about his choice, the man explains that alcohol has ruined his life and led to his financial troubles. Shepard then offers him $10,000 to drink, but he declines. Undeterred, Shepard raises the offer to $50,000, insisting he drink an entire bottle. Faced with such a tempting sum, the man reluctantly complies and finishes the bottle. Shepard revels in his ability to manipulate the group. As dinner concludes, he announces that he will reveal the purpose of their gathering. Shepard announces a game called Would You Rather, where participants must choose between 2 options, A or B. The last person standing wins, but anyone who fails to choose in time is eliminated. He clarifies that anyone wanting to forfeit can leave, but a businessman who just won $50,000 decides to stay for the money. No one else opts out, and they agree to continue. With everyone on board, Shepard reveals the first dare, summoning his butler with an electric shock machine. He shares that he once used this device for torture, instilling fear in the group. The businessman considers leaving but is told he missed his chance. As he attempts to escape, he is shot in the head, causing chaos among the participants. The first dare begins, and electrical belts are placed on their heads. Cal is chosen first, and he must decide who will receive the shock. Being kind-hearted, he chooses himself. Next, the silent girl must choose, and she selects an elderly woman to receive the shock. Since she was never a virtuous girl, the ordeal was excruciating for the elderly woman, who was reeling from the shock. The rounds progressed like this, with each participant fulfilling their challenges. Lucas, being a gentleman, also endured the shock twice, voluntarily taking it in place of Iris. Then came Iris's turn, facing off against Carl. Kind-hearted as she was, Iris opted to take the shock herself rather than let Carl suffer. The pain was intense. With everyone completing the dare, no one was eliminated. The participants, gripped by fear, were approached by Shepard's son, who mocked them with laughter. An army veteran among them began to argue with him. "You should be ashamed," the veteran said, to which Shepard's son retorted, "You'll regret this," before storming off. Moments later, Shepard himself arrived, announcing, "Let's begin the second dare. You have 30 seconds to decide." It was Iris's turn again. Her options were to pinch Carl's feet or stab the army veteran with a leather stick. The ex-armyman intervened, saying, "Stab me instead of Carl, he might bleed too much." Though reluctant, Iris struck him 3 times. His skin tore, and blood flowed. Next up was Lucas, who faced a choice: stab Iris or the same ex-army veteran. The veteran once again offered himself, saying, "Stab me again." Lucas, despite his reservations, struck him 3 times. Shepard's son grew increasingly gleeful, having orchestrated this as part of his vengeful scheme against the veteran. The turn then shifted back to the ex-army man, who had to choose between stabbing Lucas or himself. Unwilling to harm anyone else, he chose to stab himself once more, accepting yet another punishment. The next participant faced the old lady as their opponent. His options were to stab the veteran again or the old lady in the feet. Aware of the veteran's dire state, he opted for the old lady, reasoning that her paralyzed lower body might spare her the pain. He stabbed her, hitting a vein, and she bled profusely. Then it was the old lady's turn, pitted against a quiet girl. Her second option allowed her to stab the veteran 3 times, but instead, she took her revenge and stabbed the silent girl in the feet. The silent girl, now given her chance, could either strike the veteran or any other participant. Asked, "Can I stab anywhere?" Shepard replied, "Yes, I'm favoring you since you escaped unscathed last round due to your high points." She stabbed Iris in the side, and fortunately, Iris felt minimal pain. Suddenly, commotion erupted. The old lady was motionless and silent. Upon inspection, it was clear she had passed away. Her body was removed from the room. Next was Carl's turn. He could either stab the veteran or Lucas's feet. The silent girl interjected, "We shouldn't keep helping each other, or no one will be eliminated, and how will we pick a winner?" Carl nodded in agreement, stood, and struck the veteran 3 times. The man, now gravely injured, could no longer continue and was cast out of the room. Shepard and his butler began planning the next dare. Lucas noticed an open door, grabbed Iris, and they bolted outside, overpowering the security guards. Iris fled, but Shepard, enraged, drew his gun and shot Carl. He ordered everyone to find Iris. Though she escaped the room, she discovered all exterior doors were locked. Shepard's son tracked her down and began tormenting her. In retaliation, she stabbed him, and he collapsed. Meanwhile, Iris's brother, a doctor, felt deep remorse for sending her to such a perilous place. Determined to save her, he arrived, gun in hand, reassuring her, "Don't worry, I'll get you out." But Shepard's butler appeared, shot the doctor, and dragged Iris back to the game area, informing Shepard that his son had provoked her. Shepard offered her an apology. The game resumed with a large drum of water brought in. Participants faced 2 choices: submerge their head in water for 2 minutes or pick an envelope from the pile in front of them. One contestant chose an envelope marked with a firecracker. Shepard explained, "A firecracker will be attached to your arm and detonated." The man smirked, thinking it a minor task, but his expression turned to horror when he saw it wasn't a firecracker, it was a bomb. Strapped to his arm, it exploded, obliterating his hand and killing him instantly. His body was discarded. Lucas went next, selecting an envelope with an eye symbol. Shepard instructed, "You must cut your eye with a blade." Lucas protested, "How is that possible?" and refused, but Shepard gave him just 30 seconds. Left with no choice, Lucas made the cut. Then it was Iris's turn. She chose to hold her breath in the water drum. Shepard's butler gripped her head tightly, ensuring she couldn't pull free. As she submerged, she thought of her brother and the life he dreamed of living, motivating her to endure. She survived the 2 minutes. The silent girl, fearing water, picked an envelope instead. It bore the number 4, meaning she had to stay underwater for 4 minutes. The butler forced her head down, but she couldn't withstand it and suffocated. Now, only Iris and Lucas remained. Shepard flipped a coin, and Iris won. He presented her options: take Lucas with you and leave with no money, or shoot him and win a fortune. Lucas pleaded, I have 3 sisters, please don't shoot me. We can go home and find money elsewhere. But Iris, thinking of her brother, reluctantly drew the gun and fired. Shepard and his butler applauded her victory. Iris bowed her head in regret. Shepard awarded her a hefty sum and added, we've also found a bone marrow donor. Iris returned home early in the morning, finding her brother asleep. Not wanting to disturb him, she showered and refreshed herself. When she returned to wake him, she discovered he'd overdosed on medication and taken his own life. Stunned, Iris stood frozen as the story concluded.